I'll just take you around the plants that I'm growing and where I've got gaps. And then in my next video, I'll show you the seedlings that I've got started for all the gaps. So let's start here with my forget-me-nots on the path and some foxgloves. Forget-me-nots, foxgloves. I've got a peony tree in a pot with a rose intermingled there along this path. And then I've got these just containers everywhere. I do like containers. I love them along pathways. And so this is a little white rose. I forget the name of it. But look at my sweet peas here. Look at I showed you, I'll put the link to my sweet pea video. This is how I'm going to grow sweet peas from now on. I have never had such a good head start. And it's been a cold April, so all my other plants. So I'll show you a comparison of my bells of Ireland here, where they were last year. They were so much bigger because it's been cold, but the sweet peas have not been affected at all, apart from these, which were a shop bought packet, and they have been completely straggly compared to my own sweet peas. So those big robust ones you just saw were all my own. Here they are again. Look, these were all from my collected seeds from previous years. And you see, so here's another corner here where I'm going to have a plant theatre. I've got another peony tree in a pot here. This is getting so big it might have to go to the back. Look at this beautiful rhododendron here. And I've got this rhododendron was sort of treated not very well, so it will recover. And then I've got these lovely pink pokers, biscota, I think they're called. And they all will get bigger and fluffier and more beautiful. My alliums are coming up now, tulips. These were my overwintered ranunculus. I'll talk about those in another video. Cosmos, straw flowers here. And if I get too many of these, I'll just transplant them. I just like to plant them where they are, where I'm going to think they're going to go. And then, as I say, I use that as a nursery bed, the actual container. And then, what straw flower variety is that? I can't see that. I don't even know what I've grown myself there, but it's a straw flower. And then I've got some giant double straw flowers here. Can't wait to see those. Some more cosmos. Those cosmos were the ones I rooted in water from the pinched out tips. And a silvery rose straw flower. So you can see they're still doing okay. More alliums, and my peonies now all have flowers on them. I forget what this one is I've grown here from seed. These are all from seed, or they're shop bought. I'll tell you if they're shop bought. These are white foxgloves. Obviously, they need thinning out, but I've noticed they don't like transplanting. I've got some night scented stock here in a low sort of trough container right along the path. Well, night scented stock, as the name suggests, are scented. So I thought that would be nice as you walk down the path, having all the scented stock sort of. But again, they're very slow. I forget what this is. I think it's a geranium, this here. But these are echinops. Now, these echinops I bought last year from like a cheap budget store, like Poundland or B&M or something like that. And they did nothing last year, but they are really big. So they obviously just needed that 1 year to sort of bulk up. And now they're pretty big. This is garlic I grew from cloves that I bought from the shop. Some lemon balm, ranunculus. I'm hoping these ranunculus get going soon. And some columbine here. This is all self-seeded anyway. And you can see some of it is almost in flower. There next to some forget-me-nots. Looks kind of cute. Here's another peony in a pot. And I put a bamboo cane because I did want some sweet peas to grow under here, but they don't like this soil, I don't think, in this pot. They don't like it at all. And here's a climbing rose. So I think I'm going to add more climbing roses. I did a little short where I was just sitting in the garden and thought, no, I think I'm going to cover this pergola with climbing roses. And that's a little robin's nest. Well, I say it's a robin's nest. I know it was a blackbird's nest a couple of years ago, but I think the robins are using it. And I've got these little containers off the floor here. This is spinach, which has already been harvested. And this is parsley and coriander up here. And this way, having them up here against the wall, I know the dogs can't pee on them or do anything gross like that. And then I dug up some of this biscota here, and I've transplanted them in a couple of pots because it's such a beautiful plant. I'll show you it in flower. and just looks absolutely great with these pokers coming out everywhere. So I think I might transplant that in other parts of the garden, like I have done with my forget-me-nots, which I've managed to establish all over the garden now, rather than just along this path. There's another trough here. This has some blue woodruff seeding in it. So that's a native British wildflower. So I'm really hoping they take off. And I've got some dill seeding in this pot here. In fact, I didn't think they were going to take off, but they certainly have now. They won't all stay there, obviously, it's far too many in one pot. This normally had my pheasant eye narcissus in, but they've all come up blind this year. And I have some clematis up here, but I can't remember this variety here. But anyway, it's flowering. Some more honeysuckle. That's probably going to start weaving through the rose hedge behind. These are the overwintered ranunculus. So they flowered early, which was my aim. But because I didn't look after them, the flowers are pretty poor. And I talk about that in my ranunculus video, about how to look after them over winter, which I certainly didn't do. I found to my cost that I didn't do. Rosebuds already on the rose hedge. And some honesty, obviously grew those last year because for them to flower and seed this year. So they're a bit like foxgloves in that way. And this is the, I forget what this is called now, the snowball bush. I'll put its official name up on the screen. I always forget it, Rosum something. Something rose, good, Gelder rose, I'll put it up. Anyway, another clematis here at the back, so they like their roots in shade. So this is perfect to have the pot hidden behind the honesty and the roses. Okay, so here's my ranuncular bed. So far behind where it was last year, I'm sure. And I'm thinking of joining these two. These are some sunflowers, actually. Some of them didn't come up. My cut flower mix haven't come up at all. I'm thinking of joining these two beds. I was about to put a path through it. And then I thought, actually, I think I'm going to join these two beds up. I'm not sure I really like this kind of circular bed. It kind of looks a bit sort of, council park. I'm not sure. Anyway, as you can see, lots of plants filling up here. These are Shasta daisies, more forget-me-nots. These are Nigella. I think these are Nigella that have self-seeded here. I've got some statice over there. I'm pretty sure they're Nigella. And some, obviously, tulips at the moment. Yeah, this is the statice here. And I've got another one at the back there. Well, they didn't grow last year. So I'm actually amazed to see them here this year. And I've got these saponaria, I think they're called, which hopefully should sort of fill out and sort of dazzle with these little pink flowers. They should be like little sort of jewels weaving in between. And they should really be filling this space out. I was, again, so cold. The April we've had has just been so cold. And even though we're in May and we've got the cushions out on the sofa, outdoor sofa, there's still a cold wind. So the plants are really feeling it. So just walking around this border now, and I've got a bare patch here, which I'm going to assume is either the dog or the cat. But you can see little bells of Ireland clinging on to life there. My bells of Ireland were so far ahead. These are some self-seeded marigolds, so I think I'm going to move those. There's another one there, because they're just not right in the right place. Some more saponaria there. I think it's called saponaria. More larkspur needs planting out. More ranunculus. I know the ranunculus will fill out this space more, but they're just taking so long. Pretty little tulips there because it's so cold. And then in the middle, I do have a pink David Austin rose. More bells of Ireland in these pots because I love the big sort of green, stately, fresh look, but they're not growing. I've got some scabiosa here and more forget-me-nots. They look so cute. And some of these daffodils, again, I can't remember the names, the varieties, because I just got them all mixed up and I didn't separate them out. But again, look at my sweet peas. I mean, my sweet peas are actually going great guns because I sowed them where they're to grow and used the cloches to protect them. So they've just, and these are blackberries. But I think I'm going to move these big blackberries and put roses here instead. I've got the yarrow. I've got, what else have I got? They're the peony poppies over there. You can see some little, I haven't done half as many anemones this year, and I filled this space out with some more ranunculus, so they should really fill these sort of patches out here. Sweet peas again, can't wait for those. I've got so many, it's going to look really good. And this is the blackberry bush. Delicious blackberries, I have to say, but it just looks too scruffy here. I've never quite got it to look nice. And these are larkspur at the back here because they're taller. So they look like they're doing okay. The cat did dig a couple up, so I've had to put my Mission Impossible ropes down, which always looks very untidy. I had somebody here yesterday and I could tell they were like, what are all these sticks everywhere? It was upsetting because I know how beautiful my garden is when it gets going, but I can't be bothered to explain why I have all these sticks to people who aren't gardeners. But anyway, poppies again here, filling out this space just around the sweet peas. But this is actually my peony border. All these peonies were bought last year from supermarkets cheap, and they did nothing last year. I mean, they sent up a few shoots. But this year, as you can see, they're kind of getting big now. So I can see now how they will fill out this border. It's just going to take a few years. Here's a self-seeded native hedge plant. So I'll dig that up and pot it up. But yeah, most of them have got buds on. Some are a bit ahead, like this one is further ahead than others. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how big they've grown this second year. And they fill up the whole bed. So I cannot wait for this bed to just be full of peonies. In the centre, I've got those sweet peas. Again, it's another. I always have sweet peas at the back. And I've got these limoniums here, look. I'll show you those, the pink pokers, and they will fill around the base of the sweet peas. But because they're kind of airy, they'll just be speckled but tall. So they'll go up there and fill out that space, hopefully. Here's some actual peas, but I planted so many in this pot. This is shop-bought compost, so I can't help thinking the compost had something to do with that. Anyway, so this is my big border, and it's nowhere near full. But near the front, I have some more Shasta daisies, drumstick scabiosas, and obviously tulips and alliums. I've got so many alliums, I am actually going to have to move them. And place them in other parts of the garden. That was Monarda you just saw there, bergamot. And some thyme here being sort of mobbed by these allium leaves. And look at this. So this obviously is a horrible bag filled with sweet peas. But obviously as everything grows around it, you will just see the sweet peas towering up. And those peony poppies there. These are some yarrow, which I'm going to grow, but I'm growing in pots obviously to put further back because they grow really tall. Some more Monarda with these in between these tulips and narcissus. So the Monarda will definitely fill out bare patches, and the alliums have gone crazy in my garden. If anything, I've got too many, but I have patches of, you can see them here, you can see all my patches as well. So this is I'm growing so much stuff to go in these patches, but I'm going to do a second video for that because this was going on a bit long, this video. So I'll show you what I've got to go in those patches. But and this is just like, there's so many here, look. I couldn't take this border down because there was just so many alliums in it. But I do want to have them in other parts of the garden so that it's more even. At the moment, they're all just sort of stuck here. Yeah. And here's some self-seeded marigolds. So that's good to know that they self-seed. And I think this is another larkspur. I'm not sure what that is. It could be Nigella, I suppose. But because I don't remember I'll have to look back at my videos to see what else I grew there. It could be a larkspur, actually. Because I think I did have them too close to the border, some of my taller plants, to the front of the border. And my marigolds really are too short here. This variety were too small. So I probably will dig these up and pot them up in other parts of the garden. So there's a few weeds growing up around them. But the marigold leaves are quite distinct from the weeds. And then I've got snapdragons and Nicotiana in those bottles, some more columbine and Monarda here in this pot. No, that's not the right label for those. These are pink Achillea, those are. So I'm going to plant those up. They're not going to stay in that pot. And I need to move these back into the sun. Sorry, I mowed the lawn yesterday. I say mowed the lawn. My lawn, I've absolutely devastated it from... I'm on clay soil, so working in my borders and around over the... sorry you saw my horrible feet there. Over the winter has just devastated the grass, you know, by impacting it through the mud. I've got some lavender there, needs potting up. More monarda, more scabiosa or Shasta daisies there are, I'm not sure. And I've got some Shasta daisies over here. So there's nice spots of plants. So there's repeating patterns now of plants. I feel like I'm establishing some kind of order now. I don't know how I've got a ring in my oregano, but that's a oregano and sage. So I like those actually spilling out there. So I'll probably just leave those. And then there's my rose, climbing rose. That's over the pergola down the bottom of the garden. So I'm kind of going to do something more like that, but a little bit less wild. And I've got some honeysuckle up the back there. So yeah, that's a nice area of the garden, but lots to do, as you can see, with these gaps everywhere. But in my next video, as I say, I'll show you what I'm growing to fill all these gaps. I've got so many, I thought so many things I'm growing, I'll just do a separate video. And then over here on the other side of the path, next to the ranunculus, I've got some more columbine, foxgloves. I've showed you that pot, but I'll just show you how it looks here next to the... So when these are all flowering, it's just going to be spectacular. There's just that period in between when you're just waiting. I've got to try and clear up my potting up section as well. And I've got some more gravel there you can see on the drive. And then over here, which I'll talk about in my next video, I have on a sort of garden table all my seeds that are going to fill up those gaps that I was showing you in the garden. So I've got sort of Canterbury bells, I've got delphiniums, cosmos, I have... Oh, I forgot what some of these are. Sweet rockets, that's going to be great because that just is a perennial that'll come back every year. Some more yarrow, sweet williams, delphiniums, craspedia. You know, I've got quite a few things too, and I've also got those other things that I've already showed you in this video, such as the giant double straw flowers. Here's some Canterbury bells. I've obviously got all the dahlias as well to come later. I've got some more. These are pink cornflowers. I think I showed you those in another video. So, you know, lots to come. That's in my next video. I'll go through all those seedlings too, which are going to be filling in those gaps. Some perennials, some annuals. But each year, obviously, this garden is becoming more and more like a traditional cottage garden, which is basically what my house is. It's a very old English cottage from the 1700s. And it was, you know, as I showed you in a previous video, just a square lawn full of slugs and slime. And, you know, so hopefully it's going to look more and more beautiful every year that passes. Okay, thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.